Good morning, everyone.
Nidhi, I think
Myself,
we should start
Assistant
now.
Professor.
Principal sir and Shankar sir, shall we start?
Yeah, please. Please, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Is my voice audible?
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Assistant Professor Preeti Matharu, member of Incubation Center. I hope and pray that all of you are doing well in these times of pandemic. I would like to welcome you all to this national level webinar on innovations in workspaces, smart ideas for profitable business, organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell and the Incubation Center of Bansa's SM Shetty College of Science, Commerce and Management Studies. I would like to welcome our resource person for the day, Mr. Dharmesh Kothari, Chairman of Powai Education Committee, Shri C.A. Shankar B. Shetty, Principal of our college, Dr. Sridhara Shetty, Vice Principal and IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Liji Santosh, Vice Principal Professor Sandesha Shetty, in charge of Incubation Center and BMS Coordinator, Assistant Professor Nidhi Chandorkar, all the coordinators of the college, my colleagues, and my dear participants. I extend a very warm welcome to you all. Before we move ahead, keeping with the tradition of the college, I request you all to rise for the national anthem. Please stand up, everyone.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Please be seated, everyone. Thank you. Our today's webinar is on innovations in workspaces. Innovation refers to creating more effective process, products, and ideas. Innovation acts as a catalyst that can help the business to sustain, to grow in this competitive marketplace. Before we proceed further, I would request Assistant Professor Steffi Salve, member of Incubation Center, to give a brief introduction about the college. Steffi, ma'am.
Thank you, Preeti ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning to one and all present here. Bansanga's SM Shetty College of Science, Commerce and Management Studies, Powai, welcomes all the dignitaries and participants to the national level webinar on innovation in workspaces. As we enter the college premises, we humbly bow in front of Goddess Saraswati as a sign of devotion and to invoke her blessings as we believe and surrender to the shloka Kamdenu Gunavidya Sadaiva Faladaini. Knowledge grants all the wishes all the time. Bansanga, Mumbai was established in 1927 as a charitable trust and devoted itself to the cause of education, healthcare and social reforms of downtrodden and underprivileged class of people. The Sangha has been in the service of people for more than 9 decades. Initially, the Sangha established 2 night schools, mainly to cater to the needs of students working during the daytime. During the last decade, more emphasis was given to the education for the masses. Bansanga Mumbai is headed by President Shri Padmanabha S. Payare. The college is managed by Power Education Committee. The chairman of Power Education Committee is C.A. Shankar B. Shetty. Vice chairmen are Shri B.R. Shetty and Shri Nityanand Hegde. Secretary Shri Harish Vasu Shetty and Treasurer C.A. Harish D. Shetty. Bansanga's SM Shetty College of Science, Commerce and Management Studies, Powai, was established in the year 2008 by Bansanga, Mumbai. The college is affiliated to University of Mumbai. It is committed to the promotion and propagation of quality education with excellence. Our vision statement is personality development for nation building. Our mission is to enable young minds to discover and develop their potential in an environment conducive to learning, to create technically competent young individuals with practical skills, to develop socially conscious and morally upright global citizens for a new India. Our quality policy is to make the institution student-centric with continuous upgradation of knowledge of the faculty, which in turn benefit the stakeholders in general and students in particular to serve the society and meet the global challenges. The college offers 6 undergraduate courses, which are Bachelor of Commerce, BCom with Banking and Insurance, BCom with Accountancy and Finance, Bachelor of Management Studies, BSc IT, Bachelor of Arts in Mass Media and Communication. We also offer 2 postgraduate courses, that is MCom in Accountancy and MSc IT. The college has PhD Center in Commerce approved by University of Mumbai. We offer various need-based certificate and add-on courses. In our spectacular journey of 11 years, we have earned many feathers in our cap in the form of awards and recognitions. To begin with, the college was accredited with A grade in the very first assessment cycle of UGC NAC in the year 2016. We are awarded with IMC Ramakrishna Bajaj National Quality Certificate of Merit in 2019. This award was received for excellent quality policies and practices we follow. We have also won Education Excellence Award in 2017, bestowed by Indus Foundation, Hyderabad, New Jersey, USA. We also have won Healthy Workplace Award in 2017, presented by Arogya World Public Health Foundation of India. This award is given after assessment of health, hygiene, and happiness indices of the institution. We received Appreciation Award from former Chief Minister of Maharashtra at Bansanga Kurla for bagging A grade in the first cycle of UGC NAC. The other achievements of our college is permanently affiliated to the University of Mumbai, and we are an ISO 9001-2015 certified institution. We have several academic collaboration. For skill development of faculty and students, we have collaborated with Tata Institute of Social Sciences for NUSSD program for skill development of college students. We have collaborated with Spoken Tutorials IIT Bombay. For academic exchange program and for research collaboration, we have collaborated with Loknete Venkatrao Gire College, Nasik, and Saraswat Vidyalaya Sri Dora Kakulao College, Goa. We also have collaborated with Kotak Education Foundation. It is an NGO which works for the upliftment of underprivileged children, especially from the slum areas. We also have collaborated with Shri Ambika Yoga Kutir for conducting yoga and health sessions in our institution. Some more glimpses of our college. The college believes in providing a platform for exploring, exhibiting, and felicitating academic, co-curricular, and extracurricular talents of the students. Therefore, we organize annual day celebrations every year. We have an intercollegiate cultural festival, Immersive. In the year 2019, nearly 70 colleges all over Mumbai had participated in it. The Department of Information Technology had organized one-day national conference in August 2019. In May 2020, we conducted a multidisciplinary international e-conference on redefining business in digital era, issues and challenges. The e-conference was a huge success as we received overwhelming participation for research paper publication and presentation nationally and internationally. Dr. Sajan Matthew, Registrar, Examination and Evaluation, Alliance University, Bangalore, Professor Dave O. Gorman, former professor at Santa Fe College, Florida, and business consultant at Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and CA Shankar B. Shetty, Chairman, Power Education Committee, Band Sangha, Mumbai, along with management members were the dignitaries for this e-conference. We have excellent state-of-the-art infrastructure facilities. Our infrastructure comprises of 4 well-equipped IT labs, a library that has rich repository of online and offline learning resources, and 35 ICT-enabled AC classrooms. The prime task of internal quality assurance cell is to act as a catalyst for the development of a system for conscious and consistent improvement in overall performance of our institution. Through this cell, this year we have organized quality enhancement programs such as orientation session for students, alumni meetings, multidisciplinary international e-conference on redefining business in digital era issues and challenges, national level webinars on intellectual property rights and e-content development, faculty development program on Bloom's taxonomy, and many more conferences and workshops for teaching and non-teaching staff. The Incubation Center of the college provides a platform for training and support to the students who want to start their own ventures or bring innovation to their family business. We organize many activities such as sessions for interaction with entrepreneurs from the industry. To conduct these sessions, Mr. Karthik Raichura, founder of websites.co.in, and Mr. Om Thakkar, director at OSS Infrastructure Private Limited, had visited the college. We conduct a few guidance sessions to make the students understand industry competition and think innovatively. We also conducted skill development activities that help in developing skills to run a business independently, where the motto is enough is not enough in the competitive industry. We also conducted poster making competition so that students can display their out-of-the-box thoughts. For this webinar, we have an organizing committee which is headed by Dr. Sridhara Shetty, Principal, Dr. Liji Santosh, Vice Principal and IQAC Coordinator, Mr. Sandesha Shetty, Vice Principal, Mrs. Nidhi Chandorkar, PMS Coordinator and Head of Incubation Center. The members of the organizing committee are Mrs. Disha Daliwala, Mrs. Sujata Rizal Kothir, Mr. Vinay Shapurkar, Mr. Mithilesh Chauhan, Mrs. Tilani Shuklavaria, Mrs. Preeti Matharu, Mr. Ashish Navik, and Mrs. Steffi Salve D'Souza. These are the contact details of our college. Our college is virtually and socially present on various platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you. Once again, I proudly welcome you to this webinar conducted by our college. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steffi ma'am, for giving beautiful insights about our college, the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, and the Incubation Center. Thank you. Now, I would request our principal, sir, Dr. Sridhara Shetty, to address the audience. Sir, please.
At the very outset, good morning to all of you. Respected Chairman of our Education Committee, CA Shankar B. Shetty, the esteemed guest and resource person of today, Mr. Dharmesh Kothari, Vice President at Nomera, Vice Principals, the BMS Coordinator, Chandrakar, and your team, teachers, the technical support team, and participants from different parts of India. At the very outset, cordial welcome to all of you. In today's context, innovation has become a buzzword globally at the corridors of higher seat of learning. All the colleges, IITs, IIMs, almost all seats of higher learning, I think students talk about innovations, not only in the library corridors, even in the canteens also. When we examine the history of the evolution of the growth and development of the world, look back 200 years, I think we have started with the steam engine, electricity, electronics, information technology, now currently digitalization. Somewhere we are telling that necessity is the mother of invention. I think in the last 20 years, especially after 2020, after 2000, a lot of innovations have taken place and there was a tremendous and rapid growth. Sometimes it is not possible for comprehension. In the recent past, almost all the colleges, which are the learning institutions and which are quite proactive, started the incubation centers in their respective colleges. I think I am very apt if I recall Dr. Abdul Kalam. Once Kalam said, thinking is the capital now, enterprise is the way, and hard work is the solution. I think is 100% correct. Thinking is the capital. When I was the student in maybe 30, 40 years back, my economics teachers were telling that it is the capital, the land, labor, enterprise, etc. But today it is the thinking is the capital. Ola, Uber, Oyo hotels, etc. It's nothing but a fantastic thinking or thinking, what do you mean, the out of the box thinking. I think Ola, Uber, maybe 2,000 or 20,000 square feet managing without owning a car, or 1,000 or 2,000 cars or fleet of cars, a fantastic thinking. So therefore, dear students, if you are to be innovative, thinking is the capital, enterprise is the way, that is the risk taking. Or at least we should take the calculated risk. And hard work is the solution, maybe 24 hours or around the clock. I think we can derive sufficient motivation from Dr. Abdul Kalam's when he was talking about addressing thousands of students about innovations. Now, recently, take into account the Indian ecosystem for innovations. Our Prime Minister in his previous regime was telling about Make in India, Made in India, etc. Now, vocal for local, self-reliance, etc., etc. I am adding something more for that. Dear students, we should also think globally, act locally. I was telling to my students, for example, take the example of Australia, take the example of New Zealand, take the example of Switzerland, how they led the world in case of dairy industry, chocolate industry, etc. Why can't we bend it to the local needs? Think globally and act locally. And I reverse it now. Think locally, apply globally. For example, in Mumbai, 70% of the hotels approximately run by the Shettis of 2 districts. But Indian Patels are one step ahead. It is said that American hotels are motels run by Indian patels. Think locally, apply globally. Therefore, dear students, an ecosystem is there in India wherein you can innovate. But today, the moot question is, the question of debate is, I'm just requesting our resource person also, whether innovators are born or made. Are born or made. Now, up to 1970 or 1980, there was a theory that entrepreneurs were born. But today, there's an ecosystem in the college itself to think beyond the curriculum and start their own, a kind of risk taking. Therefore, dear students, to become an innovator, not only your IQ, not only your intelligence, so many other components are also required. The components would include your logical thinking, your reasoning, your critical thinking, your creativity, and your imagination. All these things are required to think out of the box. And one more thing is, you should also know how to manage the failure. And you should know how to bounce back from where you have fallen. This is also important. Therefore, in the present day context, I think the best lesson we can teach to the young innovators would be the success stories of the entrepreneurs. Success stories of the entrepreneurs. It is not the textbook knowledge. And how they have started, from scratch they have started, how they failed, how they bounced back, which are the ups and downs, etc., etc. So therefore, this session is meant for that. And today, our resource person is Mr. Dharmesh Kothari, who has given many such lectures to youngsters. Mr. Dharmesh Kothari, I always strongly believe that knowledge is powerful, but it's more powerful when it is being shared with the budding innovators. And even in SMCT College, we have a small incubation center wherein we invite students, I think nearing around 100, and we try to give our wings to fly. I think down the line, 10 years, there will be many innovators as our alumni. So I take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to our chairman, C.A. Shankar B. Shetty. Sir, I welcome you.
Thank you.
And also extend a cordial welcome to Mr. Dharmesh Kothari for sharing your resources with the young innovators. Cordial welcome you, sir. I take this opportunity to appreciate the place and record, the initiative taken by the BMS department and the incubation center led by Nidhi Chandorkar for taking this to its logical end. Welcome you all. And I extend a warm welcome to our vice principals, Dr. Lidhi Santosh, and also the IQAC coordinator, Professor Sandesh Shetty, all the teachers of the incubation center, the technical team, my teachers, and the respected participants from different parts of India. And finally, I wish this function a grand success. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wise words. I would now request Assistant Professor Nidhi Chandorkar, in charge Incubation Center and BMS Coordinator, to introduce our resource person of the day. Ma'am.
Thank you, Preeti ma'am. A very good morning to all the dignitaries, teachers, and the participants. It's my honor to introduce our resource person to you. Today, he has come here to give an insight on innovations in workspaces. We have Mr. Dharmesh Kothari with us. Mr. Kothari is an investment banker with a rich professional experience of 15 years in investment banking functions like treasury, market risk, credit risk, and data management. He is inclined towards rendering social services by providing soft skill training, and he's an expert in business innovations and business automation models. He has been conducting spoken English and computer classes for underprivileged students. He is a part of the team which conducts training on automation of government school. We are so fortunate to have you with us, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now request Shri C.A. Shankar-D. Shetty, sir, Chairman, Powai Education Committee, to address the audience and inaugurate the session. Sir.
Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Today's speaker, Dharmesh Kothari ji, our principal, vice principal, teachers, technical team, and all the participants. I'm very happy to be here to inaugurate this session, the innovation on workplace. I think this is very, very relevant in this period of COVID-19. I think, as everybody says, there are going to be new normal. To be successful in new normal, one has to innovate. He has to innovate in all the areas wherever we operate. We are in the school space. I think more scope is there or requirement is there, innovation in the school atmosphere. I think the school, the teaching, the teachers, methods, everything will change in the coming years. Whether COVID continues or not, I think the changes which takes place now, it will remain for longer time. Maybe the new system of teaching may be in place in the shortest period of time. Now, what is innovation? Innovation is nothing but a new idea, a creative thought, a new imagination, or an application of a better thing in the changed circumstances. In the school's atmosphere, what we need to do is to upskill and reskill ourselves. How can we do that? We can do through artificial intelligence, maybe analysis of big data, even blockchain, and other aspects like digital platforms. All things will come in place. When we talk of blockchain, we only say it cryptocurrency. No, actually blockchain contains the process automation, the new business models, and so many things. Crypto is one part of it. So I think to be relevant and to be effective, and also to be effective to the children's, one has to follow all the things and take best out of it and design a new system of teaching. I think in our college and school also, we have already implemented, we have gone one step ahead, the classes have started, and we have implemented all the new systems there. But we need to learn. As I said earlier, upskills and reskill, that is a basic requirement. The man like Dharmesh Kothari, he has best of the both worlds. He is an investment banker and at the same time, he is an automation expert, having more than 15 years of experience. I think he can teach us or train us what to do to be effective and relevant for the today's requirement. Without taking much of our time, because expert is there with us, let us hear from you. I think that is more relevant for us. I wish this function all the best, and I formally inaugurate this event today. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring and practical words. I would now request our resource person of the day, Mr. Dharmesh Kothari, to start with the technical session. Sir.
Thank you all. Sri Sankar Shetty sir, Sri Shetty sir, principal Sri Shetty sir, then we have vice principal Sandesh Shetty sir, and then Nidhi madam, specific to Nidhi madam. Thank you very much for all setting this and taking all this through. And thank you all management team as well as all the participants for giving me an opportunity here to be here with you guys. Now I think already sir and madam have brief about me, so I'll not again go to that section and we'll start the session, so we can finish it within the time. I hope I am audible, and just I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. So shall I, Nidhi madam, shall I share my means is it it's like sharing my screen?
Vinay sir, can you help him?
Yes, sir, Dharmesh sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Can you share screen on your screen? Green color icon is a share screen.
yeah, yeah.
Click on that.
Yeah, I've clicked.
So you can
Okay, right.
PPT over there, no?
Yeah. Sorry, just yeah.
Yes, sir. Started now.
Okay. So as Sankar sir and Sridhar sir has already mentioned about like why innovation is important in the life, as well as how the innovation was not like just the recently started, but it was started 200 or 300 years ago. Even in our ancient history, people were innovative. They have they have invented many of the things like as the time passes, like they have built the road. They have in the ancient time they have started cooking the uh, the chula, what it's called stove, basically. So that time also invention was there. It's not like newly the new world, but in the current context, how innovation is relevant. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And then yeah, means I'll try to make it interactive. Though it is on webinar, it will be a new thing for me as well as I think many of the participants. But I'll try my best to make it you will not lose the context. Okay. So in Indian terminology, I think it is if we relate it, it's called jugaad, right? Many people in India it says like it's jugaad, kuch jugaad karna, something like that, right? When we are in trouble, or when we are in we need something new things or something we want to do, that time we say like this word. It's a very common word in the Indian context, right? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So it's usually people say like innovation in India specifically, not in the tier 1 cities, but in the tier 2 and the other means the small cities. People think about like innovation is a Western word on not related to Indians, or means we are okay with the labor things, otherwise we'll lose our jobs basically at the moment, so we don't need to jump into that. Let's continue with whatever things is available. But that's a myth actually. India are far ahead in innovation. Yeah. So let me tell you some examples. Okay, in the pandemic also, the recent example, I think it will be better if people will relate it, how India is far ahead than other countries. So let me showcase my one of the picture, because it has like recently been picture taken, so I couldn't incorporate into my presentation. But see here how these people is innovative, means you never seen that in the Western world. Even like when our Prime Minister said like we have to maintain a social distance, how it has been taken at the ground level. If you see this guy, how he has invented this thing. In the Western world, I don't think people will think about that, right? This is also an option, right? So this is how we are taking Indians, like in our capacity, whatever available resources, we are not asking some more resources. This is happening within our capacity and within the resources we have, right? So that is important. When you do the innovation, it's not like we have to think about we have everything available. Then we'll not be innovative at all. We have to think whatever the resources we have, and then only if we do something innovative, then it is called innovation. The next example, this pandemic has given us a lot of opportunities to think differently, right? So this is railway compartment. When I read in the newspaper in the first time, I thought like no one has imagined about that. They can make a railway compartment as isolation center, right? I haven't read from any country that they have tried. Even the developed countries like US, UK, or the China. Even China is though it is developing country but far ahead than us, but they never thought about that they can use this kind of facilities and they can make it, right? So Indians are far ahead in everything. And what Sridhar Shetty said, I think now the time is we have to take it, globally. The thing is we are taking it in locally. We are restricting. It's not something our fault, but it's like our so-called environment has been created from last so many years, because the people, the rulers in the India, they're from like 700, 800 years. They only taught our ancestors is like, you have to follow the command. You cannot rules something. So that's why it's that things came to us in heritage, and hence we are not thinking beyond from the limited space. But now people have started thinking. Parallelly, government is also thinking about in that way. They are supporting, so that things will come out. But my point is, here to say Indians are not behind, and innovation is not a buzzword for Indians. Okay. Now I'll move on to my presentation slide. Sorry, because these are the new things. So yeah, so it is an innovation definition. There could be many definitions, but it's mainly primarily innovation is when it helps us to make the better process, to make the product better, or appealing the people's life, society, or appealing the skills of the people, students. So that's why it is that we can say it is an innovation. Okay. So now today the agenda of this session would be like I have divided into 3 parts. Why innovation is necessary. I'll go into some of the case studies and then some of the methods which can help to identify some of the better ideas. Okay. I'll start with the first part, why innovation is necessary. Okay. So if you see the screen, what is common in between these 3 companies, right? Nokia, BlackBerry, and Motorola. If you go back in the year of 2005, 7, 10, before 10, these companies are dominating the market. Even Nokia, it's like 70% of the market they covered. BlackBerry, same way, they covered the corporate market. In the corporate, everywhere the BlackBerry was, people are using the BlackBerry because it was safe messaging, etc. Even I remember back in 2010, that time the US President Barack Obama said like, I can only use the BlackBerry because it's a very safe to use. But now at that time they didn't know like how the company will perform in the next 1 decade, right? And at the moment we see how these companies are at what place they are. Basically, either they have bankrupt or they have been acquired by someone. So what happened to these companies? They have enough talent, they have enough resources, they have enough money, capital. Why then they fail? The reason is only one. If you see, if you read somewhere or research somewhere, one thing is common between them is they didn't think about the innovation. They didn't encourage the people to innovate something. They just continue with the labor, whatever work is going on, and then they only spend time or resources on that. They never thought about like, after 5 years, how the people's expectation will be from us, or how the product they like to use that. So they never thought about. And the world is like, if you don't do, someone other will be there always, to take your chance, right? So and then this company never thought. So the benefit has been taken by some other other companies like Apple and Samsung and all other firms which we see in the market today, right? So this is how if you think that innovation will give you the benefit in the short term, no, that will not give you benefit in the short term, but obviously or definitely in the long term it will be beneficial, and it is mandatory for your survival. Basically, at the moment in the current scenario, innovation or to encourage the innovation, it is mandatory for our survival. Okay, so now I'll move on to the next. So this is again, I'll take one more example where the digital camera. Basically, this is a digital camera. This is a Kodak digital camera. They are the inventor of this digital camera in 1975. People never thought about that in the 1975 that this type of camera would be there, which will dominate the market in the 2020, right? But they are the inventor. So what happened to Kodak? Let me show you that. This is Kodak's history. In 1996, they were on the top of, they are dominating the market with 28 billion of market cap, 1,40,000 employees they have. What happened in 2012? They have bankrupt. Employees 17,000. Okay. And at the same time, there was a company called Insta in the market with 13 employees, the same product they were launching, and then market capital was 1 billion. So if you have the point here to showcase this slide is the reason is, they have invented the digital camera and they failed. But at the same time, the other company which has leveraged this digital camera business and they grown like anything. So what happened to them? They have enough force, they have enough capital. Kodak was dominating the market at a time, but they have a business called, they were in the business of the film, Kodak film, right? That time the camera as a film coming. So they always thought, this business for the Kodak film is giving us a lot of money, lot of revenue. It is like Sona ki chidiya for them. So they never thought of that, we should leverage the digital camera. And at the time, 2012, the result is like, even though they have at the time very good force, but still they never utilized them, they never leveraged them, and then they went bankrupt. So this is how things will happen if you don't think, or this is not in the company's perspective, but also in ourselves, our individual's perspective also. It is very important, because if in the current market, if you don't think about the innovation, or if you don't think differently, then a time will come that will no more relevant. Basically, in the corporates, if you see nowadays, they have started saying like around 30% of the jobs will not be there after 2 years. Okay, so that is what is that meaning is that if you don't change yourself, you will not be relevant in the market. Okay, this is true. Basically, this is fact, and this is not something some philosophical talks, but it is a fact. Means if you see how the world is changing, it's not going to be the same, right? So this is my why part, like why this innovation is required. Okay, yeah. Now you see, these are the top 12 companies I have taken from some of the sites where they have given how they are in the market. Basically, in the 2001, if you see all the companies which here mentioned, General Electronics, Citigroup, Cisco, Walmart, are all on the top of the 12 companies. Basically, they are on the top, in the market capital. They are running the share market, or the market, basically the US market. But here from 2015, if you see, what are the top companies? All the companies which are mainly primarily in the innovation business, right? All of the companies are on top of the innovation. They have a research center. They are spending 30-40% of their budget on the innovation specifically, right? So they are running the market actually. So this is how the difference is, right? Basically, if you don't rely on some news or not on some talks, but if you rely on this chart itself, you will get to know like how the market is going, right? So that's why the innovation is important in our life. Okay. Yeah. So what is happening then outside the world? Earlier we were thinking about now the US is giving all the manufacturing business to China and like all the developing countries, but it's not in a 5 or 10 years of time. That's going there because of innovative things. These things will change. Basically, the reason is now why if some person is in the US, then why he makes one robot and try to do the manufacturing from there itself. Why he needs some other countries for the low level they have to go, right? So that's this is what's going to happen in some of the years, not now, but at least down the line, some 5 or 10 years of time. Earlier, say in the first of my example is vertical farming. Earlier, people were saying because of the city area expansion, all the farming, the good farmings are going to be cut down, and the business, the buildings will be there and all. So the new innovation started that the vertical farming is started in the building. If you see this is the new, yeah. Sorry. Just a second. Give me a moment. Yeah. So that is, sorry, my bad. So vertical farming is like, in a building you have in the vertical size you have all the crops has been started growing. Some of the companies, even in the India company, some company called Aero Farming, it's far ahead in this innovation basically, which is taking all the how they wanted to market they want to materialize in the market. They are tying up with some of the multinational companies and they are doing some that kind of innovation. The other example is home delivery by drone. So if you see nowadays, we see that all the Swiggy and Zomato, they have a delivery boy, Amazon have a delivery boy. But what will happen? Amazon in 2019, they have stated that they have implemented a drone in the US, the east coast of US, where they sent some medical instruments from the drone to the hospital, some blood requirement, blood needs, they have sent to drone. So this is how it is happening basically. And the Zomato also they have said in the 2019 that they will launch some drone delivery by drone in India by 2020. So because of this COVID and all that's been delayed, but the once things will start it again, these things will be in the run basically. So you see, like, what will happen to the home deliveries boys and all, right? So we have to change it all in our regular time, basically. There is some specific time, and that scenario will remain within that time. But after that, these things will change. So people have to be regularly updated with their knowledge, with their skills. Otherwise, it will be irrelevant, as I said, in the short period of time. Again, diagnosis of complex disease in early stage. I think Shankar Sethi sir has mentioned like how the data is important and how AI is taking place in the market. AI means artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? So many companies are far ahead. Where taking the data of the cancer patients and then kind of, not I'm saying specific to cancer, but the big disease, the cancer, like cancer. They're taking the data and then they are trying to predict whether the person will have a cancer symptoms or in the early stage. So or there will be any chance that person will be affected like that. So this technology is taking completely a different turn in the market. So these are some limited something I mentioned here, but there are many things even going into the market. We have to regularly watch how the things are shaping. Yeah. Some of the I'll touch upon some of the myths which is created about the innovation, and that sometimes give us some kind of threat that okay, these are specifically from the news or social media like that. But they are at least I can say from my 15 years that is experience. These are all myths created. So first myth is, and topmost is, the job loss. People are saying that because of innovation, because of new technology, we are going to lose the job. That's not at all the right thing in this position, I can say. The reason is the innovation is not taking any jobs at the moment. Okay. So what innovation is? Innovation is trying to create new business. Okay. In 15 years ago, if you see, we never thought of application business. Now, in the last 10 years of time, the mobile application business has grown a lot, right? So what it did, it helped to create a new job only, right? It didn't took any jobs basically from the market. The people who are working in some Java developer in the technology world, they switched to the apps development. Why? The reason was that they are getting the interest. Okay, creating the new apps, they're creating the new supporting the new customers like that. So that's why they switch. It's not like something the Java jobs in the Java development is being taken. No, Java development job is still there. .NET development or any that type of job is still there in the market. But people thought that it is very interesting, so I should move that. So similar way, in other industry, there are examples where people moved because of this, right? So that is not something the right thing to do. But yeah, definitely it is required that we upskills our our skills, basically whatever we have as per the market needs. So at least we'll get some kind of some kind of even you think like how many years you will do the same job. Basically, you will be also irritated, right? We are as a human being will be irritated, and the creators of the human being is not thought about like will or not asked like you do the same thing a year and year, right? We have a human have a very strong brain, so we have to utilize in something differently. We have to utilize or leverage that brain in a maximum capacity. So and that will give us a satisfaction at the end of the day. If you do something new or if you try to do something new, it will in the end of the day you will be happy. You did something new, something like in the and the COVID case also, when there was a problem of the our maids are not coming and all. But sometimes we learn that skill as well, basically the cleaning the wash dishes, etc. And that is giving at the end of the day, specifically to me, it's like giving sometimes a satisfaction. Okay, I learned something new. Yeah, it's not a wrong skill at all. Sometimes where when you are in the survival mode like COVID, then you need that skill basically. So that's where we have to be we have to celebrate that instead of saying like this is irritating like that, right? So this is just examples I am giving, but this is what market is. And the next is only, I think Sridhar sir said, like it's not means the example is only creative genius can innovate. No, as Sridhar sir mentioned that, what Abdul Kalam said, everyone has to think differently. Everyone has a brain and they have to use that. Nothing like, no one is going to, no one is genius in the today's world. We have an internet, we have a Google, everything can be available. Whatever you want to know, just type it and you will get all the pages, hundreds of pages for the knowledge, right? So it's very easy in the current world to get the information out of that. So that is very important, how we leverage the internet, instead of always focusing on the social media. Yeah, I mean, social media is not a bad thing, but yeah, we have to plan that instead of focusing always on that. If just try to think differently and just use the internet in the right way also, that will be helpful. Third is all about technology. In the subsequent slides, I have some examples where it's not all about technology, how the innovation helps. It's not only about technology, but you can means in your current life also how you can use or you can be innovative. Okay, so there I'll touch base upon. Fourth is survival will be at stake. As I said, like job loss. Okay, still people say that is okay. There's all philosophical talk. Job loss will not be there and all. But there is a because some countries government also afraid, and then they ask corporates how will they take care of the people. So some of the corporates have did some tie-ups, and they are coming with an idea, or I can say they have started materializing that idea, where they have created some pool of funds where if the person is on the retirement verge and he thinks that I'm not competent, then they have started two parts in that complete structure. One part is upscaling their skills basically, so that they can be competitive. And the other thing, still the person thinks that no, I cannot do that. Means you cannot force them, right? But still government has to take care of them. So that's why they say they've created a pool of funds which gives you a minimum money to survive basically. So they have started this experiment in one of the country in Africa, and once that has been materialized, I think they will roll out this experiment within the different parts of the world, so that the question of the survival can be solved with the help of the governments or local governments and with this kind of corporate tie-ups basically. So that is what, still this is to give the money to the person, is a debatable. Even in India also, during the election time, many political parties give the commitment that okay, we'll give money, but then it's a lot of debates going on, right? So I'm not saying what is right, what is wrong, but this is how things are going basically. The corporates going to take care, or they have tie-ups where they suggest they find out the people who are not competitive and there is an issue of survival. Okay, so this is all about myth, but we should not go detail in that means, instead, okay, just listen and forget. That will be helpful. Okay. And by the way, this I won't mention, but it's all also religious philosophical talks also says that, the change is only the constant thing in the life. So not like just these are the new things, but all the our ancient history as well as the philosophical philosophical books also tells the same thing, like, change is only the constant thing in the life. You cannot ignore that. Yeah. So now I'll move on to the enable innovation, how you can enable. Yeah. Good. So making a innovation, or in your day-to-day life, or making thinking about innovation, or be innovative. It's not like you give some good answer, then you are innovative. No. What this guy is saying is, this is more answering something is not that much important, but framing a question is very much important. Okay. So back in 1920s, 30s, I think that's the era where everything was on the horse, or even before 1900. The transportation is through horse or through animals, right? So what is the question here means, that time people were facing the problem was that it was taking time, the journey was not comfortable, like that. So what he is saying, he could have, this Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Motors. So he said that if I could have tried to solve their problem, I could have made the horse faster. But that is his answer. You see, that is the answer of your problem. But if you put a problem in a different way, how can I give them the comfort and the faster time? Okay, then your solution will be different, right? So the question is very important than the answer when you want to be innovative, right? Don't narrow down your question, in the granular level. Instead, you put a question on the very higher level and then think differently. You will get a lot of ideas, and allow that ideas to simmer in your brain. Basically, don't stop them. And out of that, I'll go through some of the methods which will help you to identify some of the brighter ideas. Basically, because when you start thinking, your brain will have a lot of ideas. There are many ideas will simmer in your brain, but don't stop them. Okay, so this is how it will work. Basically, you have to start the question from the top. Similar way, if during the 2005-2006, when we are using the phone, which is when we press the button and like that. So that time, if someone has thought about, like, what would be the better solution of this, just he would have thought, give some touch screen where person can just instead of pressing the button, just type like that, what we are currently doing. So that would be the answer. But what Steve Jobs thought about, that he said, like, there are three devices: iPod, phone, and the screen size. So all three, how can I make it together? The all three to be together, then that product will be helpful to the people. So this is how you frame the question, right? That is important, not the how you give the answer. Yeah, answer will. There are many people will be in the world that they will have a good answer, but answer is always not important, right? So this is how the framing a question. So as I said, like, the answer is very simple here, but the questions, we have a lot of options, a lot of ideas. Basically, here if you see these two can be a combination of anything, right? So this is your the question is important in the innovation world. There's an example, like here, I think many people have joined who are, I think, either from the engineering background or management background, or from the commerce background, right? So what will happen when you complete your graduation and you go from to the big companies? Like, for example, if the student is an engineer, the interview will ask, in the interview they will ask, the Java, the Python, or the the new, whatever the latest language is available, and then how the big data works, data and data science works, like that. But when you go into the organization, in the big organization specifically, what will happen? They will ask you to work on Excel, or your 50% of the time will go into the Excel. Okay. So that time, it will help you to do this is, think differently. They have a lot of problems. Okay, when you do the work on the Excel, there will be a lot of problems there, but never thought upon people have never thought about how can we make some solution. So, or there will be a people there, they can have a solution, but they never come and talk about that. The reason is that they also said, it's word called institutionalized. Basically, they are also habitual with sitting. Okay, why should I worry about that? I should complete my work and let finish and go. No, but so that's why I'm saying there will be a lot of opportunities when you go into the organization where you can automate something, or you can think about that. Similar way, after the pandemic, this time, don't take it in a negative way, but if you take it in a positive way also, you will have a lot of opportunities. Even yesterday, I was listening to Sundar Pichai, who is a Google CEO, and he was there in one of the farewell ceremony of one of the college, where he said, don't take it in a negative way, take it in a positive way. You can create a history from here. Basically, if you innovate something, or you contribute something to the society, or you give some solution to the society, you will be remembered in the history, basically, right? So that's what he said, and very rightly said that is the time. Again, don't think that this is the only year where there is a problem. Again, 100 years ago, the same year, 1920, there is a pandemic. 50 years ago, the world was in a different mode, basically, where the Cold War is going and everything was mashed. So don't think that you are the only one who's going to suffer, but this is an opportunity. Every problem creates an opportunity in the life. Even our Prime Minister also said in his first talks in the during the COVID time, that this is the time for we have to think about an opportunity. Okay, so how you will find the opportunity using this. Find out the question, what is the problem currently people are facing, right? And then think about the solution. Solution will be easy. The problem will be tough. Okay. So so these are the 4 W's. We have to remember who is affected. What is the problem? Why does it happen, and why does it matter? So this 4W is very important when you think about any innovative solution. Okay. So give our time and think about that. Whenever you have some ideas, keep some ideas into this bucket, and then you will get some kind of clue that how you can materialize it, or how can you take it further. Okay. Now I'll move on to the third part, that is organization case, some of the case studies where some of the organization where how they are in the innovation field, basically. These are some of the examples. I think Sridhar said there are many innovation in the Indian world as well. Specifically, I have taken the second, which is innovated by Indian. So I'll go through that also. And then first and third is Western, but not limited to technology. It's all about the normal, means all our different business. Okay. So that I will touch base upon that. Okay. So the company called Tesla, I think many of you have heard about that. They are making the cars, not a car, but electric car. They are in the vehicle business from the long back. Not long back like Toyota or Ford or like something, but they are in the business from long time. They are doing some small car business till 2004. Then in 2004 they sorry, just give me a moment. Sorry. Yeah. So in the 2004 time, what happened is they bring Mr. Elon Musk into the management committee. Elon Musk is now the CEO of this Tesla company. And that time Tesla was suffering from the competition. Basically, in the market, there are many vehicle companies are there in the market, and they were thinking that they are not competent enough. So then they thought about that we'll go into the electric car business, where that will be a demand for the market, and they have started. Then Mr. Elon Musk they have asked Elon Musk to head the committee. That committee was headed by him, and he asked the committee that to build the car, not the electric car, but the general car. Why he has said that? They want to be in the electric car business, okay? But he said, don't build the electric car, build the general car. The reason the statement he gave is because all that time also there are many companies where we has tried electric car or electric vehicle. They were in the electric business, but that didn't work basically. And then he researched why that didn't work. The reason was when you put a word that called electric car, what will do? Your thoughts are narrowed down, right? So now your thoughts are limited to the electric car. So that car will always be a compact. You will not have a space. You will have a lot of safety and security stuffs in the car. You have to make it, and people will not like that basically. So that's what he researched, that why people are not liking the current electric car model. So that's why he said, build a general car. I will make it electric. Basically, you build a general car only. So then the Tesla team have started building the general car. They came with all the normal car structures, very comfort level, very good spacious, everything. And then he came with the electric structure. So what he did, because always the other companies that time, what they were doing is they were using the back side or front side of the space for all the electric charging, etc. Then he thought about, like, why should I use this space? Because this space is making the car more compact. So instead of that, he used the bottom space where your charging will happen. So you will have comfort, lot of comfort zone, and you can take a rest in the car. You will not be a problem. Okay. The other was about the safety. You have more safety control, and people will tired at some point of time, right? Because safety is necessary, but sometimes too much safety is also giving you, like, whether you will run the car or you just focus on the safety. So what he did is he thought about, like, cars should be connected to the Tesla center. So whenever there is a problem or they find out some of the things which is not working, or safety wise there is some kind of problems he feels, then the car is connected to the Tesla center. So immediately Tesla center will take care of that. So how he has built this, the complete car is completely automated, or you can say it's a smart car where it's immediately connect to the Tesla center through iPad or Google or whatever. Like, there are many controls they have put up. The third part of the thing is, like, he said he thought about when you buy the electric, or you think about buying the electric car, what you will think, how much time it will take for charging, right? And where do I charge basically? So usually at the time, whatever the companies in the car business, the car was taking the whole night of, you have to keep the car on the whole night for the charging. So it will be again irritating process. Sometimes you forget that, right? So how our human mind is not like the routine thing always do in the same way, right? Sometimes we forget. So what he did is he said, just I'll put a kit where the charging when the first of all he kept all the pumps within 100 kilometers of radius. So within 100 kilometers you will get one pump, the Tesla electric charging pump, where if it takes around 15-20 minutes. The pump stations take 15-20 minutes to completely charge. It runs around more than 300 kilometers. So you can go somewhere and you will get definitely another pump, right? And then the other thing, within the 15-20 minutes, you can go for some some snacks or some tea, coffee, and then you come back, right? And then your car will be charged. Right? Also at the home, he has tried to give the charging facility where within the 4 to 5 hours of time, your car will be charged completely. So this is how he thought about, like, how can I solve this problem? Okay, and then we know now how the Tesla is at the moment in the car industry. If you see in the electric car, specifically vehicle, Tesla is on the top of every company. Even Toyota, Mitsubishi, all the other car companies or Volkswagen, they are buying the electric kit from Tesla. Tesla is now started selling their electric kit basically to the other multinational companies, and they are buying these kits basically. Okay, so Tesla is making a money in the two business: one normal car business, and the other electric kit business where they sell the kit. Okay, so if you see that what he came out with the problem statement, The problem statement is this: if they have also thought about only making the electric car, that car will not work at all, because already most of the chance that it will not work. I'm not saying that it will not work 100%, but 90% chance that will not work. So he made a statement that I want a general car, and then they came up with the solutions which solves the people's problem, right? Actually, people's problem, whatever the ground level problem people are facing, that they solve, right? Also, after that, Elon Musk has started, for their employee, he has started some of the new things. He said, every person in the company has to give some time for the innovation thought in a week. So there is a 1 hour session in a week where he himself engaged with all the employees of the company, and he asked, like, what is the what is your thought? Even okay, no problem. This is not every innovation will not materialize, or every thought will not materialize, but you think that is more important. And then what he has created a policy that the company will appreciate only the people who are innovative. Basically, innovative is not mean something like people will innovate and that will be materialized, but people will think differently. So he said, I think many staff members will not like to listen, but he said, if you solve my BAU problem, business as usual, means the task which for that task you had, it will not care. Means I don't care about that. That is your task which company is paying to you. Basically, right? You are not making something differently. Company is already paying you. So he came back with a policy there. A person will be appreciated only when he will be innovative. He or she will be innovative in a way. Like, you have to think about differently in your day-to-day life. Not like you are hired for a some good pay job and you have to do the same thing. No, not like that. You have to change something. Yeah, even though it is a small thing. But in the corporate, in my experience, I can tell you, no company expects you to do some kind of disruptive innovations where that everything will be changed. No, not like that. No one expects that. But what they expect is we have to think something differently. How we can make it some automation, how we can make it some better things for the clients, so the revenue can be grown, or the clients will be satisfied, or we'll gain more trust from the client, right? So that's where that is important. Okay, not like every day you cannot do some disruption, right? Even disruption has many disadvantages, but yeah, that the big firms are always focusing on the incremental innovation. I'll go to that. I'll touch base upon that part as well in the later slide. So how the Tesla is work, and how you can see how they are in the market at the moment. They are in the top category, or in the premium category of the electric car vehicle. Yeah, even they are talking to the Indian government to set up a plant here. Last year also they have talked, but that talk failed because of some reason, because of they want to like more autonomy in their work, basically. But yeah, that talk is going on. They are going to come here in next couple of years. Okay, so the next is Nespresso. So this is basically people. Yeah. So if many of you or us knows about Nestle's business, right? Nestle is there in the many business, but the primary they have opened one of the business was making this espresso machines. Basically, in 1976 or 86 they came into the market. I think 76, and then there was that time the people in the Europe specifically they came with this Nestle machine. What was happening at that time? The coffee shop, they were the beans, coffee beans, they were pressing, and then they are making the coffee. So you have to go to the coffee house or coffee store where you have to then you have to pay some for $3 or $4 or 2 to 3 euros basically, and then you will get a coffee. And the coffee is like the Starbucks coffee where you enjoy the coffee. Basically, it's not like this very simple, but it's like enjoy that. You will get some taste, different taste. And then all the European coffee shops have started this business, and then in a 5 to 6 years of time, the market was stable, and then the coffee business constant, and means you don't have a growth of more than 4-5% of, even though in the European American countries they don't have like inflation like us. They have a inflation like 2 to 3%, or even Japan they have a inflation is in negative, right? So they don't have inflation much, and that completely the business was in the constant or stable basically. They don't have a growth. So then Nestle has spent a lot of money on the research. They asked, they built one research team, and they've asked how to make this business where the growth they expect the growth more than 30% or at least more than 20%. How they can change that? So one of the research team came back, and they thought about how can we make this pod. So these are the pods, these are the some aluminum pod where they keep all the contents of the coffee within that pod, and then you put a pod into the machine, and then you will have a direct coffee available. So what was this pod changed for the Nestle was, it changed completely their business model. Until then they were in the business of these machines. Okay, they were making this machine, but when they started building these pods, what they did is because this machine business was constant, that they were not getting the huge revenue. So what they did is they outsourced this machine business. They give to some third party, and then they started building this manufacturing this pod. And what happened? In the Europe, if you see, every household basically, say for example, in our family we have 4 people. So every household have a tendency to drink 2 to 3 coffee in a day, basically minimum 2 to 3. I'm saying. So if there are 4 people, then how it will happen? 4 into 3, like more than 10 times the coffee is needed. So what the one pod will suffice the 1 coffee. So you have 10. If you want 10 coffees, then you need 10 pods. Okay, and 10 pods cost is like $20 or something. So it's there from their economy perspective. That is okay for them to spend that. And this, when they go to machine, they go to coffee house. How much they have to spend? That is $4 to $5 per coffee. So if you multiply by 10, it will be $40 to $50, right? So that's why they thought about this pod business. They came back with this new design, this new completely new structure. And what happened? That changed completely the national business structure and their revenue model. On the year of 2010, I think they have grown like more than 30% what they have thought about before 5 years. Okay. So this is how, this is not about only technology. Here there is no technology, right? This is all about like pod, how you put the capsules or coffee beans within the pod, aluminum pod, and then, also they thought about, okay, we'll create this aluminum pod, then, there will be a lot of wastage of the aluminum, right? And that can create a problem for the environment. So they have started, again, parallelly, they have started recycling the aluminum. Okay. So these are the ideas they came back, okay, the team, and then they have implemented in the practical life. So, and then, when you have, there is a chance that you fail, as Peter said rightly, the fail will always be there. You have to celebrate your failure as well. What we listen in the news is always like, we're success. Out of 110 companies are only succeeding, right? 90s are failing. But if you see, instead of learning the 10 successful companies, if you learn the 90 failure model, then you will learn better than what you do in the success case. Okay, so you have to celebrate the failure. That is very much important. Okay, not always cases will be successful, but the failure is very important. So when they are in the coffee business, they failed after that, after sometimes, because there are a lot of competition. Other companies have taken care of their business. Okay, so this is how they change the model. Okay, then. So this is what, the coffee market was stable, and they came back with the pod. Now they have outsourced the machine business. They are completely in the pod business. So their model is completely changed. You see, they have outsourced completely the machine business. So one more important thing is you have to detach yourself. You cannot learn only the attachment. Okay, we only learn the attach, how to attach with someone, but we have to think about, or we have to learn about how we can detach with someone. Okay. If we think that, oh, no, I was working on this from last 10 years and I cannot leave that, my emotions is with that. Many people have cannot leave that. That is always be important for us. So yeah, so that you have to learn about how you can detach yourself when you think that market is not going to support you. Okay, so that is very important thing. Now I'll go into the Indian context, how this Stanford University, some of the Indian students have came back with some innovation. Yeah. Sorry, I have to switch my screen. The reason is I don't want to pass these slides which they have created, in a right way. Yeah. So these are the, I think this is people might be knowing, many people. This is the incubator for the baby. Basically, if you see in the developing countries, the incubator is, let me tell you, if some of might not know it. So when you have a premature baby, that time the doctors keep them into this box basically till they think that okay, now the baby is okay in health wise, so they take out that. So this is called the incubator. And in the developing countries specifically, there is a research says 20 million babies. 20 million means around 2 crores. In a 1 year to 5 year of span, there are 20 million babies are premature basically. Okay, and they came back with the research also came back with the prominent cases are in the countries, southern India means southern Asian countries, South Asia countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, etc. So there are some Indian students who are working in the this guy is the prominent guy in that team. His name is Rahul Panikar. He was working in this Stanford. He was studying in the Stanford University, and he has created a group of 4 people, and where he was leading this project. Okay, so his team came out with this jacket. So what they found is why there was a lot of problem in India, and why there is difficulties. What are the difficulties in India? So the incubator cost is around 15 lakh, 20 lakh. So and the rural areas are most struggling to get that, because in the India we have a too much population in the rural, right? And they are facing this problem a lot basically. So what they thought about that, and in the rural area, some medical centers are there, but they cannot spend 15 to 20 lakhs of rupees of that incubator center. And then, what is happening? Then all traffic is coming to the city hospital, and then, they have to sit in the queue, their numbers will come, and then they have to wait. And baby's health, during the time, baby's health will deteriorate, and you lose the baby also sometimes, in many cases. Okay. So that was a real big challenge and problem. So this guy's team came back with this jacket. This jacket's cost is around $15. Yeah, so it is within the 1,000 rupees. So when you put this baby into this jacket, they have created this jacket in a way that take care of how the incubator takes care, similar way this jacket will take care of that baby. Okay, and only the cost is $15. So if in the city area, or individual or a household can buy, but in the village area, on the rural area, even though person cannot buy, but at least one medical center they can keep one this suit or jacket. So when there are a problem with the baby, they can just go to that and just treat them. So how they change this complete the requirement basically. Now they have started implementing in 2014-15. They have started implementing this complete architecture or complete this jacket business in the South India, specifically in the rural areas nearby Bangalore or Bengaluru. Basically, they have started giving this jacket. They have also tie up with some multinational companies where they are spending a lot of money on that. They are making some capitals, and then they have planned to roll out this in complete India first, and then they have planned to roll out in globally, basically where all other developing countries where the problem is major. As I said, like there are a couple of countries are surrounding India. There's a lot of problem. So the point is like the business, how the innovation is not about the big companies only can make it, right? innovation is about students. This is a student. These are the students. This is an example. You can go into the Google and just find out that these are the students. Okay, and they came with the idea, and that idea has changed everything in this incubator business basically. So this is what how when you think differently, or you have a habit to think differently, then you can change the complete business model, right? Okay, now go back. Yeah, this is a Stanford University example I have given. That's just I found just this everyone knows about Apple Watch, but if you see the history of the Apple Watch, just to give a background, when the Apple company has thought about this making Apple Watch, so at that time by 2010 or around this area, at that time we know that from the watch market is always dominated by Swiss companies, right? When we think about the watch, the name only comes as a Swiss watch, like Rado or many others, right? Also, some of the Japanese companies are there in the after 1998 area, like Casio is there, which creating a good watch. But usually the Swiss watch is dominating that market. So when Apple has thought about this creating the Apple Watch, they have contacted this Swiss company, one of the prominent Swiss company which is there in this watch business from last 100 years. And when the Apple committee has asked them, to manufacture the watch for them, then the company's head even he laughed on them. Apple committee, they said, you are very new in this kind of business, and that it's not going to work basically. So the one you are thinking about to connect the watch with the mobile, so that's not going to work, because the reason is watch people are not wearing only for the time, but for the style they are wearing. Okay, so nowadays if you see, the people are wearing the watches primarily for the style, right? So that's why that the Apple company has thought about that. Okay, no problem, we'll find out some other company. So then they took one small company which is within the Switzerland only, but they tie up with them, and that their company have manufactured the watch for the Apple. Means primarily they are dealing with this, and then Apple has also put their committee on the style, how to style this watch basically, and they focus on that. So if you check the history, when they launched the Apple Watch, on the same day, all of the Swiss watch companies' market rate was completely on the low. Means they never thought of that. Their market price will be that much down basically. Some of the companies even the government has to put a circuit basically. Circuit means you cannot sell this after that. So that has happened in the Switzerland when the Apple launched on the first day of the Apple Watch. So the thing is, how this is just an example I gave. Basically, if, as I said earlier, our philosophy or our religious taught us like, change is the only constant thing. You cannot deny that change, right? And that is how it has happened, right? So, yeah. Then I will go into that innovation types. So that I think we discuss about incremental innovation or disruptive innovation. So you can think about both the types. When incremental is like, if you can think about in the current process how you can improve, or in the current product how you can improve that product. While versus disruptive is, you come back with a completely new idea. You don't want that product, or you don't want that process at all, and it's just you vanish that process and then you start building. So like Uber, Ola, for example, as Sridhar sir has mentioned, like how they change the market. That is a disruptive completely, because you don't think about like what the current process is, but just it's based on the technology, completely technology driven. You started the model, and that is a disruptive idea. So both has their perspective, that wherever you are as a person. For example, if you are in the job where some process is running from last 10 years or 20 years, you cannot change immediately, or you cannot shut down that process. So how you can think about is incremental. But when you are in the new company where you have to think completely fresh, then you can think about disruptive ideas, right? So basically, these are their pros and cons are there. but accordingly you have to think about where you are, basically position yourself, right? So this is how the types of innovation. There are some methods, like as I said in the earlier stage, right? When we think about innovation, when we start thinking about that, we are getting a lot of ideas. Basically, we are, there are like infinite ideas. We can say, like our brain is like that only. It starts simmering, like all the ideas flows. So then you will think about, okay, I have a lot of ideas, but how do I identify that this idea will work or not, or whether I should work on this idea or not? So what are the some of the methods that can help us? So still, these are the methods. Again, at the end of the day, the person will be you only. You have to think about that, whether this will be work or not. And again, as Shankar sir said, we have to be a risk. Means we have to take a little bit risk in the life, basically. So just give me a moment. So there are some methods which we can leverage, statement starter, round robin, 6-act. There are many methods available in the when you do the Google. There are many methods available in the market where you can leverage this. But just I have highlighted here 3 methods which are very basic in nature and which are very simple in nature, so that you can leverage it. Okay. Is it my screen visible? Sorry, Ashish.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So yeah, I'll start with the statement starter, where you have to create some of the groups, basically 4 to 5 people group, and every person in the group, you have to ask them to share some ideas, and you have to debate it. Basically, this is a very basic method, as I said, like what we do actually in the current form also. But here, something difference is like you have to make some process until you make some process. That will be in a casual way only, and that will not materialize. So what you have to do is you have to create a 3-4 people group, and then you have to put an idea, or you have to put a problem what currently people are facing, and then everyone, you have to put up steps in the paper that, okay, first we have to do this, then next we have to do this, like that. So the second step is like you have to debate that. Okay, say for example, if for the 4 people have given the 4 ideas, then on each idea you have to debate, ask the question, and what are the pros, cons, what are the other effects, like that. So that way it will help you to to streamline that. Okay, out of that 4, the one idea, or you shortlist that okay, out of the 4, these are the now 2 ideas which we should focus, and then after that you can filter out 1 ideas where you need to focus on that. So that way you can something concrete, you will get it out. Okay. So that is a more helpful methods in the market. Many organizations are doing. They are creating the groups, basically groups of 10 people, group of 5 people, like that. It's not some specific guideline that in the group you have 5 people, or no. There is no specific guideline. It's upon your organization strength. Like you can have a 5 people, you can have 10 people, like that. But you can. The thing is, everyone has to contribute, and everyone has to participate in the debate. The second is round robin, where again, if say what will happen sometimes in the debate, introvert people. Some introvert is always has a good intellectual, okay, basically, but what problem is that they don't participate in this kind of discussion. So to get out of some ideas from that people, you can use the round robin, where every person can put their ideas into the sheet, and then they can pass one sheet to other two. So that way you can have all the ideas in a sheet, and then from there you can again start discussing that ideas, or you can come out with some short list for that. 6-act is a round, or Robert D. Bono is a very good author who has written the 6-act books, basically. So the 6-act is very famous in the organizations, where that helps you to find out the right idea. Basically, you can put your solution or your problem statement in a different color scheme. So they use white cap for some problem statement, black cap for the some negative points, then orange cap for some of the positive points. Like you can divide your the positives, negatives into this bucket, and then finally you can discuss it. Okay, this is what my the final solution can help us. So I'm not going to into depth because we don't have that much time as well. So but you can again go through that and just have a research about that. Basically, these are some methods which already we are doing at some extent, but this will help us to put some process into the practical life. Okay. The last slide is again I'll go through this, like challenge yourself, challenge the ideas, whoever put the questions. Basically, these are some good habits. Basically, ask the questions. If you are not satisfied with the answer, or you don't know about what is the problem or question, just ask what is that. What is clarification is not a bad thing. Basically, you can ask 100 questions, the relevant question, I'm saying. Third one is about celebrate your failure, as we discuss about, don't disappoint with the failure. The failure happens. Even the big organization also came back from the failure only. Detach yourself when required. Basically, you cannot completely attach or emotionally attach with any product or companies like that. Curiosity for learning, knowledge. Always be curious to get the knowledge, as sir has mentioned, and Nidhi madam is the handling this incubation center. So that is a good idea, where you can learn many things, you can get a knowledge, visit that. Very few organizations usually I see that do this kind of thing. You will get it in the IITs or IIMs, as sir also mentioned, but not in the other organizations. So leverage that laboratories or whatever available. See, at the end, the practical knowledge is very important. So try to use that, and don't limit yourself into the theoretical knowledge. Okay, I think I'm. Thank you for everyone for joining this session. I think I've taken all the points which I have thought of can be useful to you guys in your day-to-day life. Be innovative in your life, and make a progress out of that. Thank you very much, all sirs, Shankar sir, Sridhar sir, Nidhi madam, and all the management committee and all the participants. Once again, I hope you have enjoyed this session, and I'll be happy to take any question answer after that.
Thank you so much, sir, for this effective and thought-provoking session. I would request Assistant Professor Ashish Navik, member of Incubation Center, to take up the questions posted by the participants. Ashish, sir.
Yes, thank you, Preeti ma'am. Most of the questions were covered during the session, even though we have a few questions. First question is, how would we realize innovation in case our business is doing good? Sir?
So that's what I gave an example, right? So if as an example, Nokia or other mobile companies, or if you see the Nestle's example, where they were doing very good in the market. They were in Nokia 70% of the market share. But what happened that they were never thought about, like, after 5 years what will happen, right? So that's why it is very important. Even if you see nowadays this provision store market, like local provision store people, like they earlier, like 10 years back, they never thought of that, these online companies will come and take our business completely. All right. So that's what, they were doing good at the time. That was, as I said, I used the word, that was that business was like for them, it is a Sonic Chidia, but that didn't work in the future, right? So you have to always think about how you can change your process or how you can change your business model. Otherwise, after some years, you will not be relevant in the market, right?
Thank you, sir. Another question is, what if innovated product service is not accepted in the market?
That's absolutely fine. Means, as I said, like not all products are successful. Even you see the good companies, Microsoft, they have thought about to buying the Nokia, right, at the time. And that failed. Means they have invested a lot of monies in the Nokia, but they didn't work out. And what they learn is now, after that, they learn is like, they should focus more on the software business instead of going into this hardware, right? So that also gives them the direction. Every failure gives some direction into the life, basically, whether what we should do and what we should not do, right? So this say, yeah, we should always focus on, means we should always celebrate on the failure. We should not thought like always my product will work in the market. But if you think that, okay, now I'm failed, I will not do anything now more, then that will take you on always in the negative side in the practical life. You cannot you will not come out basically from there. So you have to always see, as a human being, for us only option is to go in the positive side. If you think about go in the negative, I think yesterday everyone has heard about the news how the good hero Susan thing happened, right? I heard that he was in depression and he took suicide, right? So it's always don't go always in the negative side. Always think about positivity. Your product is failed many times, failed even. I also done a lot of innovation products. With some of the tie-ups and all. Many of the failed, but some are after 10 failure. If you will get one successful, then it will suffice your thing. That will give a lot of satisfaction. Okay.
Thank you. Another question. If there are many ideas, do we have any technique to find which one is better?
Yeah, so as I said, these are some basic methods like statement starters, round robin, or 6 organizations are using or more relying on these methods where you can have a group discussion or you can have some kind of debate and then you can come out which ideas would be better basically. So that way you can sort out. So that will help to out of 100 ideas. But my request to everyone is don't stop yourself for flowing the ideas. Allow your mind to simmer basically. Let ideas come out. Okay, don't stop yourself to make any ideas. Don't think that okay, now I've thought a lot of, now let me think about practically. That is we have to do, but let idea flows basically. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Another question. Innovation within workspace will bring resistance from employees. How to overcome that?
Sorry, I didn't get the last point. So how employees, sorry, if you can repeat.
Yeah, I'll repeat.
Yeah.
Innovation within workspace will bring resistance from employees. How to overcome that?
Yeah, definitely. See, if some person is working from last 10 years in the workspace on some product or some Excel, as I gave an example, many organizations still are relying, even the developed organizations who are in the topmost of the market, they are relying on the Excel, right? So you cannot ask them to stop that, completely. But you have to convince them. You have to make a way out of that. You can nowadays all the organizations they had basically the division had or like in SMCT school itself. We take an example. Sridhar sir and Shankar sir are most. I think their talks is like they are encouraging the people like to come out with the ideas. So that's not someone is going to stop until unless yeah.
Okay, sir. Another question. Do you think this is right time to innovate and take risk when people are already making losses?
So people are making losses in existing businesses, right?
Yes.
They are not. So that's what I said earlier. Then when you think about this COVID time, it will give you an opportunity for for the new business to grow. Like for example, Zoom company on which we are currently participating, right? We are utilizing. They never thought of that time will be like that. Golden time will come, right? So that's what the existing companies that there is a problem, but not about when you think about how the solution will help to the people, right? Yeah.
Okay. Another question. How long investment banks can support novel ideas with advances during this pandemic?
Sorry, I lost that last point.
May I repeat? Okay, sir. How long investment banks can support novel ideas with advances during this pandemic?
Yeah, so not limited to investment banks, even any financial firms or any financial companies. They want this kind of things basically. You should be like financial firms. They are more nowadays relying on automation or the trading strategies. You know, the trading is the most important part of the financial companies organization. So if they get a benefit out of that, like there are many machine learning models or data science algorithms are there in with you know, have you many of you might have heard about the algorithmic trading. So that is what, you know, how it is. It is completely automated, you know, and they use the data science model to predict the values, or you know, to predict the market movement. So yeah, they will always nowadays, you know, that is what the future is basically. They ask for that kind of talent only.
Okay. So how can innovation cope up with adversity?
University in terms
May I
of,
repeat, sir?
yeah.
Yeah. How can innovation cope up with adversity?
So what I understood is like the question is about like how the resistance innovation can help on the, you know, solving the resistance. That's what I understood, or is it? That's what I believe, right? That's what the question is.
Yeah.
So basically the competitive, or you can say that how innovation can help you be more competitive, right? So that's, as I said, like when
Yes, correct, sir.
when you think about you know, in a competition, like you know, you in the normal products, when we are in the competition, and if you take it in a different level, for example, in the company name called Tracto, which is an Indian company, Bangalore based the firm, where you know, they are in the medical online booking and kind of business. So they are now in the completely different league, when they have started taking your health data and just, you know, predicting out of the health data, you know, what could be the disease, you know, that helps to find out, you know, or that this kind of disease can come in your body. Basically, that helps to you find out. Basically, they take all the data and then they analyze and then they predict. So that's why they are in the complete. There are many companies in the online booking and business, but this Practo is far away. The reason is they have started this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
One more question. Does SWOT analysis play a role in innovation? Does SWOT analysis play a role in innovation?
Yeah, definitely. The, you know, SWOT analysis, or you know, SDLC cycle in technology terms, all this plays in a role. Means but you know, at some extent we can give them the weight, but the weight is not that they should not be completely 100% weighted. You know, we have to be practical. We have to give some specific weights to them. We cannot follow only the processes. Okay, we have to also materialize the product into the market. So that's why also we have to think about. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Principal, sir, do you want to say something more on this question?
No, continue.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we have completed with our Q&A sessions. All the questions have been covered. Thank you, sir, for your answers.
Thank you.
Preeti ma'am, over to you.
Yeah.
So 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dharmesh Kothari, thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very much. And with the real examples and all that, I think it's a triggering point. Yeah. There should be some ignite, and you have done that. And thank you so much for voluntarily accepting it and guiding our students, youngsters, group of maybe 2022. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Assistant Professor Sujata Rizal Kotin, member of Incubation Center, to give a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Preeti ma'am. Good afternoon, one and all. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks. First and foremost, management for their encouragement conduct this national level webinar, Innovations in Workspaces. I would like to express my gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Mr. Dharmesh Kothari, for his presence and sharing his immense knowledge with us today and giving us new perspectives and new ideas for the innovations in workspaces. I thank our principal, Dr. Sridhara Shetty, for his constant support and guidance. I would like to thank our Vice Principal and IQSC Coordinator, Dr. Lizzie Santosh, Principal, Professor Sandesha Shetty, for extending a great help for this program. I thank our Incubation Center in charge and BMS Coordinator, Professor Nidhi Chandorkar, for motivating us to conduct this webinar. I also would like to express my gratitude towards our technical team and members of Incubation Center, without whom it would not have been possible to conduct such enriching webinar. I thank all the teaching and non-teaching staff for their cooperation. Last but not the least, our participants who participated so enthusiastically and made this webinar successful. Thank you all of you. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sujata ma'am. Thank you, participants, for making this event a grand success. Principal sir, can we,
Yeah.
Nidhi ma'am.
Ma'am, it's about the feedback link which is given in the chat box. Students have to fill that feedback, and thereupon they will be receiving their certificates.
Nidhi ma'am,
Yes.
we'll be keeping this session open for 15 minutes so that
Alright.
they can fill it from here only, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so we'll not be sharing in any Telegram